And now we move on with our lovely speaker for the day, Laurent, who is here with a very, very powerful workshop based on two of his wonderful books, Surrender and Forgiveness with Meher Baba. And I would ask him to begin this journey so that we can move ahead in Baba's love with these two very, very important, critical, and vital aspects of our life. And may Baba's love help us, and may the wonderful words and sharing that Laurent does with us today help us to put it into practice and see the daylight of a new transformed us in Baba's love. Thank you so much for being with us and sharing this precious workshop. Thank you so much.
Thank you, my dear sister. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay, good. Good morning, everybody. It's morning time here. I know it's later there in India, and I think we might have people from other places as well. What I like to do to start is I like to remember that Meher Baba's in each one of us. So I'd like to hear from each one your name and where you're calling in from. And then I have a lot to share with you, including some exercises that I think are helpful. So I know where Roshani is. Let's go from her. Anybody tell me where you're calling in from and how you pronounce your name?
Yeah, I'm Richard. I'm from the UK.
Thank you.
Utokshi from Mumbai.
Thank you.
Jai Baba,
I
this is
am-
Priya from Delhi.
Oh, Delhi. Thank you very much.
Jai
I
Baba.
am Meher Daruwala from Mumbai.
Oh, good.
I'm Jay from Seattle, Washington.
Oh, Seattle. Early there. Okay.
Hello. I'm Rapti and my husband Bhikkhu from India, Mumbai.
Jai Baba.
I'm Geeta Murdeshwar from Mumbai, but right now I'm in London.
Wow, London. Okay.
Thank you, Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Hi, Sanopa from Bombay.
Hi, I'm Gail from Apex, North Carolina in USA.
Oh, I'm also in North Carolina.
Rita Kohli from Bombay. Rita Kohli from Bombay.
Thank you.
And Angela Lee Chan, Myrtle Beach, South Carolina.
Hey, how are you doing, sister?
I'm Chittaranjan Gangade from Akola, Maharashtra, India.
Awesome.
Marv Winnick, living in New Jersey, currently staying in Florida.
All right. Jai Baba.
Michal from Israel. Hi, how are you?
Hey, Michal, how are you?
Fine.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Diana Goodhart from Asheville, North Carolina.
Oh, I'm also in Asheville. Jai Baba.
Hey, Baba.
I'm Rosalie Dumpy, currently on
Hello,
the blue.
sister. Good to see
Jai
you.
Baba, United States.
Is that everybody?
Laurent Algrasso here.
Hey, brother, how are you doing?
I'm doing just fine. I'm outside. I think my iPad might have died on me, but someone, my friend Jordan said, you know, when you don't show your face, it doesn't lose as much energy. So maybe that's why a lot of people, we don't see their faces. They don't want the iPad, the iPhone to discharge so fast. because I was kind of taking them to task. This morning we had 34 people and I could only see 8 faces. So anyway, my
Oh, okay.
apologies.
Jay Baba, good to see you, brother. Who else?
This is Kajal Jai Baba from Bombay.
Oh, Jay Baba. Can you all see my screen when I share?
Yes.
You see Baba's photo?
Yes.
Beautiful. Did we hear from everybody? Is there anybody I have not heard from yet?
Anita from Mumbai.
Hi, Jay Baba.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, Usha from Israel.
Oh, hello. Shabbat
Hello.
Shalom.
Who is from
Okay.
Israel? Who is from Israel?
I'm Usha.
Oh,
Well,
hi.
are you from Israel?
Yes, yes, from Tel Aviv.
Oh, nice to know. Jai Baba, lover.
Jai Baba,
First
hi.
Michal.
Nice.
Okay.
Ken. That's
How come?
nice.
This is really amazing.
Yeah, we should meet. Where are you from? In Israel.
Roshani.
Where?
Roshani.
Rosh Ain. Wow. Let's make
So
it a
Michal,
date sometime.
let's
Yeah.
during the break,
Yes,
we'll let you guys have some time to figure contact information and all that so you can connect.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
nice.
Okay, perfect.
Diane from Venice Beach, California.
Hi, Diane.
And this is Tina from Seattle, Washington.
Hi, Tina.
And this is another Tina from New York City.
Oh, that's my hometown.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, shall we get started? I like to start with Mayor Baba's words, beloved Baba. I'm going to share some quotes. If you have brought any quotes about forgiveness with you, I'd love to hear them. And then I'm going to tell you a couple of stories, and then I'm going to do a short exercise with you, which I think will be very helpful. Beloved Baba said, "Let the past be gone. Why worry about past wrongs? Every person has done something very wrong. God is there to forgive." Baba said, "The judges of the world bring guilt to the guilty and punish them. I bring guilt to the guilty and forgive them." Baba said, "Without love, none can cultivate the noble habit of forgetting and forgiving. You forgive a wrong done to you in the same measure in which you love the wrongdoer. Forgiveness follows love." Now, here's one of my favorite things I've ever heard about Baba and forgiveness. Baba's sister Mani, who many of us have met or knew, explained that Baba had one gesture for 2 words. There was one gesture for love and for forgiveness, the same gesture. And she demonstrated on the video, she said it was like he reached down and pulled up and gave. Can you see that when I do that, or do you not see me? Let me start my
Your
video
camera
again.
is switched off. Yes.
She said it was like he reached down and he gave forgiveness. And he would reach down and say, "I give you my love." It was the same gesture. And so I have a question for you all, and I would like you to try it also, but I have a question. What does it mean to you that beloved Baba's gesture for "I give you my love" and "I forgive you" is the same gesture? And by the way, Mani went on and she said, And when Baba would say, I forgive you, it seemed like such an oceanic gesture, as if the ocean waters have come over and that wave has come over to the beach and receded, leaving not a trace. Yeah.
Not a chicken.
So that's correct. That's in the book, the final details of that. But my question is this: if you feel like it, to join me, you reach down. It's a reaching down, and you say, "I forgive you," or you reach down and you say, "I give you my love." And the question becomes, what does it mean to you? Let's have a little bit of sharing from the audience here, the participants. What does it mean to you when you hear that Baba used the same word, the same gesture in his language, the same gesture, the same word for I love you, I give you my love, and I forgive you? What does that mean to you? I think that's incredibly profound, personally. I give you my love, and I forgive you. What does that mean to you? Anybody? Can you feel it? I can feel it, right? I can feel that gesture. Can you feel it when you reach down and you say, I give you my love and I forgive you? It's a sharing from the heart. There's something happening with the heart there. It's a, I give you my love. I forgive you. Has anybody tried this gesture? How does it feel?
So I feel like all the tangles that get created by the, feeling betrayed or anger, all this is just kind of, you throw it away.
Yeah. Wonderful.
I felt a release.
A release.
Very nice.
Yes.
You're letting go when you forgive
Letting
someone.
go.
Yeah.
Let it go. Yes. Good. Good.
Also, with this statement of love follows forgiveness, I think is a toggle, because we need to bring in love to give forgiveness, and then love again for forgiveness.
Yeah.
Sure. Let me read that one more time. I'll read it again. Without love, here's beloved Baba's words. Without love, none can cultivate the noble habit of forgetting and forgiving. You forgive a wrong done to you in the same measure in which you love the wrongdoer. Forgiveness follows love. Mayor Baba. Yeah? Isn't it beautiful?
Would you like me to play this little glimpse of Baba's gesture? We have it on video pertaining to your quote.
As you wish.
If you have a second, it's just a second glimpse of that.
We don't see
gesture.
past your waist, past your here, so I don't know when you bring your hands down what you do with them.
Oh, she's
Okay, 1 minute. I'll just share the screen. This is Baba's gesture that Laurent is talking about.
मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
Can you play it again?
Yeah.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की
ऐसा नहीं बोला। कमलेश भाई वाला हाथ पेश आएगा, फिर हम यहाँ शॉपिंग करेंगे, फिर हम देखते हैं। कमलेश भाई ने हाँ वो बहुत चिल।
Laurent, could you unmute?
Is this better? Can you see me? The way Mani showed it on the video was she said Baba would reach down like he's reaching in Persian you say dil, right? You say dil for the heart, and it's like a, she said it's like a reaching down into this depths and saying, I give you my love, or I forgive you. She said it was the same word, and it was him, Baba himself, reaching into himself and giving his love, or reaching in and giving his forgiveness like a wave. Can you feel it? It's amazing, amazing. So that's what I wanted to share from Mani. And then, like I said, we're heading towards an exercise. Can you see my screen or no? The quote?
No, you need to share the screen.
Okay.
You can just share the document part because otherwise it comes with everybody's cameras on it. Yeah.
Can you see the quote now? The forgiveness quote?
Yes, we can see it.
So this is one of my favorites from Beloved Baba. Forgiveness consists in loosening the bindings of duality and Maya, which makes you feel and find the one as many. Therefore, I forgive you amounts to the loosening of your bindings. Although it takes a lot of time to build a big stack of hay, a single lighted match can burn all of it in no time at all. Similarly, regardless of the accumulated dirt and refuse of sins, divine forgiveness burns them away in no time. Then Baba has said, I am the Ancient One, and I have the divine authority to forgive anyone of anything. Yeah? So one of the things that I wanted to share about before we go into the exercise, we have a few minutes left in this part of the seminar, is that I had some experiences with forgiveness with Mayor Baba, with Don Stevens, and in other ways. I'd like to share a couple of those stories and then do an exercise with you. When I worked with Don in America in 2007, we had a seminar with him, and he told us there's no spiritual work in the world today more important than that of forgiveness. And he saw that because of the way people were treating each other in the world. And I think we can all see evidence of mistreatment in the world. It was not just wars and fighting. It was the way different religions were treating one another, different faiths, and just the deep knots in humanity of anger and hatred and other mistreatment, other abuse that he felt could only be properly dealt with Mayor Baba, with forgiveness. So he told us in that seminar in Los Angeles, he pointed at us and he said, and you need to do forgiveness work in your own backyard. That's how he would say it, meaning you take care of something in your own life with forgiveness, and then only, he said, will you be authorized to share about it with anybody else. And when he said that to us, I immediately knew I had never forgiven my father for committing suicide. My father committed suicide when I was 16 years old. And as a result of the anguish of that, I I started spiritual seeking, and within a year, I found and started following Meher Baba when I was a teenager in New York City. That was a very difficult, painful time. And so it wasn't until that was in 1986 that I came to Baba. And it wasn't until 2007 with Don that I really felt I was ready to forgive my father for suicide. That's a long time later. And so I did. And I didn't really know how to do it, but I did by going to the Samadhi, beloved Baba's Samadhi. And I said to Baba and my father in the Samadhi, I said, I called my father Puppy. That's the German, it's sort of German for daddy. And I said, Puppy, I don't know where you are, because I don't see, I don't have spiritual faculties. I don't see anything like that. And I said, but beloved Baba, I know that we're all together in you. And so Baba with you and in you, and Puppy with Baba, all of us together, I forgive you for your suicide. And it felt not dramatic, not overly emotional. It felt like there was a small bird in my hand which I could finally let go. There was some letting go. But at that time, I really didn't know a whole lot about forgiveness. I was just doing my first exercise from Don to forgive my father. I knew that's the thing I needed to do. After that, Baba gave me a whole series of experiences around forgiveness. And I could just talk for hours about it, but I won't. I'll tell you one more story, and then I'd like to do an exercise with you all. Another story is, at this same time that I was doing this work with Don, I was introduced to a man named Jean-Paul Samputu, who's from Rwanda. And it's a very long story, but the short version is, I spoke with him and I met him in London. And he said at the time in Rwanda of the genocide, it was the Hutus and the Tutsis fighting. And he said nearly 1 million people were massacred in less than a year. It was state-sponsored genocide. And he told me that at the very, very beginning, when it was just about to start, his father said to him, Jean-Paul, you're a musician, you're well-known, you're famous. You need to leave Rwanda, because when this thing starts up, they're going to start with famous people to make a point. That's who they're going to go after first, to make a dramatic point about them being in power. So leave Rwanda. And he said, so I obeyed my father and I went to Uganda. And he said, after it was done, I went back home and nobody was home. And he went to his neighbors and he said to his neighbors, where's my family? And they just shook their head. And he said, who did that? And it was his best friend, Vincent, from the other tribe, who had killed his mother, his father, his 3 brothers, and his sister. And he said, Laurent, I lost my mind. And he said he left again from Rwanda and he couldn't find any peace. He tried everything until he said one day he met a preacher who said, let's look at the Bible together. And he said, while I was reading the Bible, he said, I heard God say to me, unless and until you can forgive the people who did this, you won't be healed. So he went back to Rwanda and he found at the time the tables had turned and all the abusers were locked up in prison and they were doing trials. And he said, I went to find my friend Vincent, who had done this to my family. And I couldn't find him. And then I was told that he's in prison. So I went to the prison and I said, Vincent, did you do this? And he said, yes. And he said, God told me I need to forgive you. And I don't want to forgive you. but I forgive you. And then the trial came. And the judge said, Vincent, you've killed Jean-Paul's entire family. Jean-Paul should decide your punishment. And the judge said, Jean-Paul, how should we punish Vincent? And Jean-Paul said, no punishment, I forgive him. And the judge said, then Vincent, go home. And Vincent's wife said, if Jean-Paul forgives you, I also forgive you. And then Jean-Paul and Vincent traveled the world giving seminars together about forgiveness. Can you imagine? That's when I met him, when they were traveling around giving seminars together. What a story. And Jean-Paul asked me if I would write his story, his biography, and I said yes. My God. This was at the same time I was just starting this work with Don. So, sorry if I got a little emotional there. It's just an incredible story to me. So the question becomes, what does forgiveness mean to you? And when we do our exercise, what I'm going to ask and gently challenge you to think about is, forgiveness flows in many directions. I call this the forgiveness directions, like a compass directions. It could be that I need to forgive myself. It could be I need to ask Baba to forgive me. It could be I need to forgive somebody or more than one person who did something to me. It could be that I know I did something. I need to ask that person to forgive me. These are all different ways the forgiveness can flow. And it could flow in many directions. I had one person say, I'm angry with Baba. I need to forgive Baba. There's no right and no wrong in this exercise. It's just being honest with Baba. Baba has said, right? It amounts to the loosening of your bindings. Because we're seeing, he says, the way this works with sanskaras is we see the one, beloved Baba, the one, as many. But the reality is oneness. And it's so difficult to get to that place of experiencing the oneness. So at least, he says, we can forgive. Isn't it is it Hindi where he says, Jane do, where let it go? Is that Hindi? And Baba used to he would bring people together who were fighting and quarreling, and he'd say out what it is that's bothering you. Say it out, right? Give it to each other that you are upset. Explain your feelings. Tell them how you feel, and then he say, enough. Let it go now, right? Forgive each other. He would ask them to hug each other, forgive each other. Don't hold on to it. And that's what this is about. So if I go back to sharing my screen, can you see if I show you this diagram here? Can you see my life cycle diagram?
Yes. Little up. Yeah.
So this is a diagram I created for the book, Forgiveness with Meher Baba. And by the way, Roshani has electronic copies, PDF copies of both the Forgiveness book and the Surrender book. If you need a copy, please ask her for it. She can forward it to you. And what I did for the diagram is 10 steps. And we're going to do a few of them in the exercise, but I wanted to introduce this to you. 10 steps. Identify what happened is number one. Identify your feelings about what happened. Feel those feelings. Share what happened with somebody safe, right? This is, I'm giving you my prescription for how to forgive. We're going to do it a little differently in the seminar, in the exercise, but this is the full 10 steps. Share what happened with the other person involved. Now on number 5 there, share what happened with the other person involved. My father was dead. So I had to do it with Baba, beloved Baba, and the Samadhi. That's how I chose to do it. Acknowledgement of what happened means the other individual involved or whoever is involved hears what your suffering is and can acknowledge that. 7 is that they acknowledge not only what happened, but how you feel about what happened. Step 8 is that you either give forgiveness or you ask for forgiveness. It could be in person, it could be in a letter, it could be a phone call. In my case, it could be spiritual, right? Because the person's not available. 9 is what Baba said, right? Let it go. Wholeheartedly let it go. Enough already. Let it go. And 10 is back in the present moment, moving on in freedom, by which I mean before step 10, the issue, whatever it is, whatever happened in step 1, whatever that was, is pulling you into the past and out of the present moment. And beloved Baba has said that he is found in the present moment within, in the heart. Baba has made that so clear that he's not, he lived a life as Meher Baba. He was human, but he is the avatar. He is God. He is always eternally present with us here in the present moment. So he is a historical figure, but beloved Baba's alive. He's with us in this seminar. So as we go through this exercise that I will guide us through, think of it as what your effort is, what effort you can make. As Darwin Shaw has said, it's effort and grace. We make an effort, Baba's grace comes. But Baba also told Rick Chapman, you strive. He used the word strive to Rick Chapman. You strive. Means we each have to make some effort, right? It's not just, we're not must sitting on the side of the road just loving Baba. We make some effort. This is the path of sobriety, not the path of intoxication. Does it make sense what I'm saying? Yeah. So I'd like to hear from a few people about what I've shared so far before we go into the exercise, and then I'd like to do a little exercise. How do you feel about what I've shared so far about forgiveness with Meher Baba? And if you're writing in the chat, I'm not reading the chat, but maybe Roshani or somebody can help me if there's something in the chat that I'm missing. I'm just sharing
No.
from my heart.
Yeah, not yet. No questions yet, Laurent. We'll let you know
Okay.
if there are any in the chat.
Okay. Are you ready for the exercise? Okay, let's do this. So what I would like you to do is close your eyes. And if you can breathe the way I'm asking, it's great. If not, you can breathe any way that is comfortable to you. But let's take some deep breaths in through your nose and out through your mouth. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Deep breaths. In through your nose and out through your mouth. A couple more. In through your nose and out through your mouth. Last one. In through your nose and then out through your mouth. And now I'm going to guide you in a gentle forgiveness exercise. If you want, you can write with a pen and paper. If not, you can do it silently internally. And there's no requirement to share any of your process. It's just an opportunity for you to be in a forgiveness experience. So we can sit with our heart and put our attention on our heart. And the question becomes, in terms of forgiveness with Meher Baba and knowing that Meher Baba is with us and present, seated in our hearts, seated within you in your heart, Baba's awaiting you. What happened that requires forgiveness? First question is, what happened? And just be with that. Just let that question settle with Baba, with you, with your heart. What happened? What happened? What happened? And as you come to remember what happened, the question becomes, how do you feel about what happened? What feelings come up for you as you sit with Baba in your heart? How do you feel about what happened? And another way of asking it is, can you finish this sentence? As you remember what happened, can you finish this sentence? I feel, what's the end of the sentence? When I remember what happened, I feel, as I remember, I feel, and what's the end of the sentence? Sit with Baba with that for a moment or two, feeling those feelings. As we move into the deeper state, which is around what you needed. When you remember what happened and you feel those feelings, you had a need that wasn't met. Something happened and there's something that was needed. And now, what is it that I needed? Another way of saying it is, there was some value that you held that wasn't met. Whether it's a need or a value, something happened. And we're identifying by answering this question or finishing this sentence, what I needed was, or another way of saying it is, what I still need is, and let's feel the need behind the feeling. What's the deeper need? It could be anything. There's no right and wrong. It's just an honest exploration, sitting with Baba in our hearts. What I really needed was, or what I still need is. And we can bring Baba into it. Baba, I realize what I need is, right? And as we sit with what happened, and as we sit with our feelings about what happened, and as we sit with our need, the question becomes, are you ready to forgive? And if you're ready to forgive, we can explore all the directions that are meaningful to what happened. And the questions become, can you forgive yourself? Or another question is, do you need Baba to forgive you? Or do you need to forgive Baba? Or do you need to ask someone for forgiveness? Or did somebody harm you or hurt you and you need to forgive them? Or was there a group of people involved? Or any version of forgiveness that is meaningful to what happened in your situation you're free to explore any direction of forgiveness, or many directions. It could be multiple directions. There's no right and wrong here. It's all exploration. It's all opportunity. And as you sit with beloved Baba in your heart, knowing what happened, knowing your feelings, knowing your needs, take that step and start to forgive as much as you can with your heart. Maybe not fully, but take that first step towards what Baba said. I forgive you amounts to the loosening of your bindings. Meher Baba. We're going to give everybody a couple of minutes to slowly return from sitting with beloved Baba deep in their hearts and their feelings, and slowly return back to awareness of the room that you're in and the seminar, your physical sensations of hearing and seeing and what you're sitting in. And if anybody feels moved to share any aspect of what you've experienced in this first half of the seminar, whether it's around what beloved Baba has said in the past, or your experience of the exercise, or thoughts and feelings of any kind, as you feel moved, feel free to share, and then we'll take a short break. Jay, you're on mute. Can somebody unmute?
1 second,
Jay?
1 second. Yes, 1 second, just 1 second. Yes, you can unmute now, Jay.
Hi, I just wanted to show a clip. Can I show this clip from Eternal Beloved about forgiveness?
Yes, sure.
Ocean, the waters had come over, and that wave had come over to the beach and receded, leaving not a trace, not a chicken track on the sand. Total forgiveness.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yes, we have Meher wanting to ask something.
Well, first of all, it's very interesting. Laurent, actually, I don't know how to say your name because I always read it and never heard it in my ear. Can you say your name, please?
En français, Laurent.
Laurent, is that how you call yourself, Laurent? Is that right?
In English, it's Laurent.
Yeah.
And
Laurent,
Al will love
okay.
this. In the South, Al, low rent. And I say, well, that's better than high rent.
Yeah, well, that's how I used to read it, Laurent. I used to read it Laurent, like Lawrence and all that. So it's Laurent, Laurent. So first of all, it's very interesting that I happened to have time to come in today. And we had a few years back, wanted to invite you to come to Israel to have a forgiveness session. So it's very interesting for me. And also that Etzion is here now and another Israeli here. So we are 3 Israelis, and that's very rare because usually I'm alone on the chat. So from Israel. So yeah, I'm going through this thing. Well, of course, we live in a country where forgiveness is very much needed. And because that will be the only step that will bring the two sides together, the ability to forgive and to forget the pain and the heart inflicted on each other. So this is one of the reasons why I asked Laurent if he can come here to give a seminar. But I'm dealing with this forgiveness in my own private life for a long time, for quite a long time. And it's not easy to forgive. It's not easy when someone, I find it not easy when someone hurts me and really hurts me deeply and meaningfully, because small hurts, no problem. And I find it wrestling within me how to do that. So one of the things that I arrived at, the big hurts that is hard for me, is I got to the point that I have no claim, that it's okay for me that this person will go on in their life and I have no claim for them. Like I will not claim anything from them. So that is where I arrived with one of my very great issues. And
great, wonderful.
Yeah, and you said about this guy who all his family was killed, and he made peace and forgiven his the one who killed his family. That I just happened to bump into a video in the. Is it okay that I keep on? Yeah.
It's up to Roshani, but it's fine.
Yeah, I bumped into this very special lady called Corrie ten Boom. She's on YouTube, Corrie ten Boom. She was a Dutch lady who got into during the World War II. She got into a German camp, and her sister died, and it was very, very terrible, all that happened there. And she believed greatly in Jesus. And when she had to forgive one of the people who harassed them in the camp, she asked Jesus to come through her and to forgive. And because she couldn't do that, she asked the forgiveness from Jesus to come through her. So it's also easy to ask Baba to come through us.
It's beautiful. Thank you, Michal.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Jai Baba. Anybody else before the break?
Yes, we have Meher who wanted to ask something. We have 3 hands more up after
Go
that.
ahead. Go ahead.
Meher, please unmute.
Yeah. So I feel in forgiveness, in Baba's love. There's so many people who have such problems and they want to tell something, but they can't express themselves how to do what to do. So I always say, once if you're a Baba lover or not, just talk to them once and let them try and this thing. Understand that we are giving them the love, and if they don't like it, forgive it, like that. That is to me, my feeling.
Thank
So
you.
that's the.
Thank you. Thank you, Jai Baba.
Thank you, Meher. We now have Dinesh who would like to share. Yes, Dinesh, please unmute.
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
In the steps you shared, after feeling need, if you can elaborate how to go into that step after feeling the incident. You said need.
Simple. I was married for 18 years. my wife was unfaithful to me. I need to be able to trust my partner, and I need to not have betrayal in my intimate relationship. So that's what I needed. I needed fidelity. I needed faithfulness. I needed honesty, not lying, not deceit. So that was my need. And I forgave as much as I could, and I divorced her. But I moved on.
Means a need to forgive. That's what you are trying to analyze
Does it make
within,
sense?
right?
No.
Yeah, it does.
No, Dinesh. Not the need to forgive. My need, which was behind my feelings of being hurt. This was the person I trusted, I loved, I was loyal to for 18 years of marriage, and I was betrayed. So I had a deep need in my intimate relationship to have honesty and loyalty and not to be deceived. And when that need was not met, I was hurt. Yeah.
Yeah. This expectation.
It's beyond expectation, brother. If you have a marriage, it's in my experience, it was a need. It's deeper than an expectation. It was an agreement. When you get married to somebody, it's a deep heart agreement. It's beyond expectation.
I understand. Beautiful.
Thank you, Dinesh.
Jai Baba.
And
Jai Baba.
Jai Baba, Dinesh. Thank you. We have Al. Yes, Al.
Jai Baba, everyone.
Jai Baba.
Laurent, as we were doing the exercise, what came to me is that sometimes, if not most times, it's harder for me to forgive myself than to forgive others. And this is in issues that really have nothing to do with other people. To forgive myself, and I imagine the process is similar, but it might be a little different. You can imagine that maybe you're having a conversation with Baba, and like sometimes a thought will come to me that in one of Baba's quotes, he says, the moment the intensity of your faith in my will reaches its height, you say goodbye to worry forever. And then all that you suffered or enjoyed in the past, together with all that you may experience in the future, will be nothing more than the most loving and spontaneous expression of my will, and nothing will ever be able to worry you again. So I might tell myself, well, everything's Baba's will. I mean, yeah, I did something I'm not proud of or ashamed of. I want to be forgiven. But a part of me says, yeah, but you had no choice in the matter. Everything's Baba's will. He says so. But anyway, that apart, if you have any special insights on how to just forgive yourself for things that you might have done in the past or in the present, or that you will do in the future, that would be nice.
Yes, I do. I have one thing to offer. When I sat deeply with the meaning of forgiveness, it took me quite a while to understand what forgiveness means. It was not an easy thing for me to understand. And one of the reasons is because one of the definitions, there's many definitions, I'm sure, but one of the definitions of forgiveness is that you have the right to punish, and you waive that right, and instead you continue to love. So are you punishing yourself? And can you stop punishing yourself and instead love yourself through the misdeed or whatever happened there? I don't know what happened, but can you continue to love yourself? And by the way, I believe Baba's gesture of I give you my love and I forgive you, after quite a while of sharing about this with people, and one of my co-facilitators from the past, doesn't Baba continue to love us even through all that we do that is not in accordance with maybe his wish. You know, we could get into that, but he is so loving and so compassionate and knows everybody's weaknesses, and he continues to love instead of punish. I believe that's one of the definitions of forgiveness. Thank you, Jai Baba.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Al. We have Usha. Jai Baba, Usha.
Jai Baba, I had a wonderful experience, very amazing, and it's nice to know that this fellow Israeli over here, we already exchanged numbers, and I'm overwhelmed with the exercise which I did. I did the exercise 2 ways, both the times. At first point, I asked for forgiveness, and I felt Baba forgiving me. And the minute I felt the forgiveness, that was a point I could forgive. I mean, I actually did the cycle twice, both the exercises which I did with you. And
That's awesome.
and I actually, I mean, I felt okay. I felt a release, and I've got a list of things for which I have to forgive myself, because I was in this train of self-punishment, self-hate, and I'm in my recovery period now, and I've done these exercises slowly, and getting to love myself the way you just said that Baba loves me. I mean, I'm actually trying to get it inside me and start living it. So thank you.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Usha. That was
Thank
really
you,
beautiful.
Roshani, too.
Not at all. Thank you. Lauren, if you may permit, may I read a few lines of Baba from Forgive and Forget?
Yeah, of course.
People ask God for forgiveness, but since God is everything and everyone, who is there for him to forgive? Forgiveness of the created was already there in his act of creation. But still, people ask God's forgiveness, and he forgives them. But they, instead of forgetting that for which they asked forgiveness, forget that God has forgiven them, and instead remember the things they were forgiven, and so nourish the seed of wrongdoing, and it bears its fruit again. Again and again they plead for forgiveness, and again the Master says, I forgive. But it is impossible for men to forget their wrongdoings and the wrongs done to them by others. And since they cannot forget, they find it hard to forgive. But forgiveness is the best charity. It is easy to give the poor money and goods when one has plenty, but to forgive is hard. But it is the best thing if one can do it. Avatar Meher Baba Ki Jai.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. Beautiful. Well, should we take a short break, or is there time from
We'll
second
we
half or
can
no?
continue actually, Lauren. We can continue
Can I have
No
a
break?
question?
because there is another program after us, so we can continue with the second part.
So how much time do I have left before we have to be finished?
Um, you have another 40 minutes about, and then we can have question answers.
Okay. Was there one final question before we do surrender?
Yes, Usha was planning to ask something. Usha, were you asking something?
Yes, very small, short, sorry. If I have asked for forgiveness from somebody openly, and of course from Meher Baba too, and God, whatever, and the person decides not to forgive me, and I have let go. I know I have asked for forgiveness. I have actually asked forgiveness very humbly, and I had felt I was wrong, and the person has decided not to forgive me. And I have let go, but I just said in this forum, just thought came to me. I said I'll ask, and just came to me.
So what's the question? I'm not hearing the question.
The question was that what would Meher Baba's message would have been to me on such a situation? I know, it's a very funny question.
Well, certainly I don't know. I can't speak for Baba, but I can tell you what I believe. Two things. It's different with Meher Baba than without Meher Baba. You notice I always add to this titles now. I put with Meher Baba. So if it's with Meher Baba, it's different than without Meher Baba. Without Meher Baba, it's karma. With Meher Baba, when you focus on loving him, if he forgives you, he can make all of that clear between you and that other person because of his grace and his love and his forgiveness with Meher Baba. Without Meher Baba, there's some karma that needs to be resolved with that person.
Right.
But just focus on loving Baba, focus on loving Baba, obeying Baba, surrendering to Meher Baba. That will wipe out everything from any experience with anyone ever. He's the ultimate, the avatar. There's nothing he can't erase and clean up.
Great. Thank you so much. Did it.
Jai Baba. Jai Baba.
Thank you so much, Usha. Dinesh wants to ask again something. Yes, Dinesh.
Yeah, some small thought sharing in this process. That Meher Baba's one statement is very profound. You may not like someone, but you can still love him. That makes really wonderful. Means it makes it in two parts. Some person you may not like and may not like to forget, but still one can love him. And when one can love him, it is easy to forget and forgive. You may not like someone, but you can still love him.
Yes. Didn't
Yeah,
beloved Baba say, to love those who you cannot love
Cannot
is to
love
love me as I
me.
should be loved?
Loved.
Wonderful.
Yeah. Yes. Nihal wants to ask something.
Yeah, go ahead.
I want to comment on that because that's exactly what Baba told. I think he told Agni. She was coming to him when Baba was on the hill, Ujjayi, and she said, and on the way, someone stopped her to ask something, and they had some scramble there, and she came to Baba very disturbed by that, and she said, I can't feel for that person. I can't like them, love them or something. Baba said, no, you don't like them, but you love them. That love is something more basic, and that you don't have to love everyone. Baba said you don't have to like everyone. You don't have to like what they do. You don't have to like how they react, but you have a basic love because everyone is God. So thank you.
Jai Baba.
It's very moving
Yes.
session. Thank you.
You ready for surrender?
Beautiful.
Surrender is different.
Lovely. Lauren, could you just emphasize maybe on one thing? Usually, in the society we hear this, oh, I'm very forgiving, but I can't forget what it is done, and forgive, but never forget. You hear these very ultimate statements. But all through Baba's words, the one important thing that sticks with me is that if you cannot forget, you have not forgiven, and you cannot forgive. And that's what kept radiating throughout wherever Baba has spoken about forgiveness in discourses and otherwise. So and yes, in your book, through different parts of the book, I got that again and again, that how we are taken in by this influx of the society when we use these kind of statements, and they create an ego mind solace, which actually is the complete opposite of what Baba truly wants us to do.
Yeah, so is there an actual question?
Yes, if on this forgetting part, the importance of forgetting and the connection of, Baba's words of how important it is to forget, and then only we can forgive.
Well, so I think it's more like this personally, in my experience. When the forgiveness is wholehearted and complete, it doesn't mean that I can't remember what happened, but it's different. It's more like what happened doesn't come into my daily consciousness and try to pull me back out of the present moment and dwell in the past. So
Beautiful.
if that keeps happening, where you keep getting pulled into the past because of something, it's probably that you haven't completely forgiven it, because once you completely forgive and let it go, I can still remember that my father committed suicide, but I can go days and days and weeks and months and not think about it at all. At all. It's not pulling me. And I can be present with Baba in the present moment, day by day, without a thought about it. So I don't think Baba meant forget like you will never be able to remember that it happened. I think what he means is stop dwelling in the past and remember me, be with me, love me in the present. Forget about the past. Enough already. It's like the ego crying. What about this? What about that? So what? Move on, But in order to get to that place of so what? So what? My father committed suicide. Yeah, that's his choice. But to get to that place, I had to do real work. And now I can be free. Does it make sense? Yeah. Jay Bob.
Thank you. That's what I just wanted to hear your clarifying words with this.
That's how I think about it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Wonderful. Yes.
Yeah.
Sure
Sure.
enough. Lovely.
Shall we
So
do
we
a
can
little
move
bit of
towards
surrender?
surrender. Yes, we'll move towards surrender now without much.
Okay. And can you see my screen and what I'm sharing?
Yes, we.
Surrender is quite different. Quite different. And a couple of things are going to come up very strongly. The first is my first surrender, which was I was now 17 years old, just came to Baba in New York City. My sister was in a mental health hospital. My mother was extremely distressed and distraught because my father had committed suicide. I felt very much alone and very confused. And then I was sent a Mayor Baba card by somebody from Myrtle Beach. It had a beautiful photo of beloved Baba, and underneath the photo was this quote: "If you make me your real father, all differences and contentions between you and all personal problems in connection with your lives will become dissolved in the ocean of my love." And I read that. I remember I was standing in my bedroom holding this card, looking out the window and looking at the card. And I was 17, and I said, I kind of put my head up like this, like I'm looking at the sky, I guess. And I just said, "Okay, Baba, from now on, you're my real father. I'm making you my real father." And I didn't know at the time that was a surrender, but it was my first surrender with Baba, my first real surrender. And my life changed completely as a result. Absolutely completely. Baba says the only real surrender is that in which poise is undisturbed by any adverse circumstance, and the individual, amidst every kind of hardship, is resigned with perfect calm to the will of God. That bears repeating. The only real surrender is that in which poise is undisturbed by any adverse circumstance, and the individual, amidst every kind of hardship, is resigned with perfect calm to the will of God. And I remember how I became involved with this surrender work. I had done a lot in the forgiveness area, and people in Myrtle Beach and some other places knew about the forgiveness work, a book and seminars and all this. And one of them said to me, well, it was in a discourses meeting. We were having a discourses meeting, and the word surrender came up in the discourse. And this Baba lover went, I don't know if you can see me. Can you still see me on the video?
We can see you, yes.
Yeah. This Baba lover went like this, I surrender. That's it. And it was a very kind of, it had like a bitter tone to it, and a bit of like a disgust and a exasperation, you know, a bit dramatic. And I thought, So I said to her, and I had known her for many years, I said to her, I don't think that's the kind of surrender Baba's talking about. And this was during the meeting. So she said, what do you mean? And I said, I believe Baba's talking about an active surrender, not a passive surrender. That sounds very passive to me, what you just expressed. And I think he's aiming towards something much more active. And she said, I don't know what that means. And I said, well, let's talk about it after the discourse, because we're in the middle of the discourse. So we finished the discourse meeting, and then as we were heading out the door, I said, so I promised to tell you what I meant by active. I said, for me, active surrender means my wants and my desires and my ego and my way of doing things is one thing. And then there's Baba's way. And can I align myself with what Baba is asking and what Baba wishes for me, rather than what my ego and my desires are asking for? And two things came up as a result of all this. One is, I was in a restaurant and there was a sign on the wall in the restaurant. You know those restaurants where they have saws that are painted and tchotchkes and shelves and signs and all this kind of stuff. It was one of those. And I was seated at a table where right above my table was a sign, and it said, half my suffering comes from wanting things my way, and the other half comes from getting them my way. And I said, that's why I needed to be at this table in this restaurant. There's something to this. And then I was up at my friend Cynthia and Richard Griffin's house in Massachusetts. And I looked over as I was talking to them, I looked over and I saw Baba's sister Mani's handwriting on their refrigerator. And I just thought, that's weird. So as I finished the conversation with them, I walked over to the fridge, and it was Mani's handwriting. And it said, it was a photocopy of her handwriting, and it said, Baba said to us, you either want what you want or you want what I want. You can't want both. And I said, wow, Cynthia, where did you get this? And she said that Sohrab and Rustam, Baba's twin nephews, had come to give a talk, and they brought that with them. And she said, oh, I need that. So she made a photocopy of that quote. So there's so many things how Baba reinforces your understanding as you go forward with him. And I thought, okay, so active surrender means, what am I doing day by day beyond the I give up, I surrender? What am I doing in each moment to recognize how my wants and my desires and my ego, right? Half my suffering comes from wanting things my way. The other half comes from getting them my way. It's all the I, me, mine, all that Baba talked about, getting away from all that towards, Baba, what is it you wish for me? What is it you are sharing or showing me, or am I tuning into Baba's way? Does it make sense what I'm saying? So we hear from Baba, in the silence of your perfect surrender, my love, which is always silent, can flow to you, to be yours always, to keep and to share with those who seek me. When the word of my love breaks out of its silence and speaks in your hearts, telling you who I really am, you will know that that is the real word you have always been longing to hear. So then, I know we have a time limit, so I'll try to get through this quickly. Then we can see that Baba says that beyond the I give up version of everything, that progress from one surrender to greater surrender is a progression from a minor conquest to a major one. The more complete forms of surrenderance represent the higher states of consciousness, since they secure greater harmony between the aspirant and the master. Thus, the infinite life of the master can flow through the aspirant in more abundant measure. Spiritual advancement is a succession of one surrender after another until the goal of the final surrenderance of the separate ego life is completely achieved. The last surrender is the only complete surrenderance. It is the reverse side of the final union in which the aspirant becomes one with the master. Therefore, in a sense, the most complete surrenderance to the master is equivalent to the attainment of the truth, which is the ultimate goal of all spiritual advancement. I'll skip ahead to where we're going with our exercise. One more quote from Baba, and then I'd like to hear from you, and then we'll do an exercise. The last one is, and I've worked with this quote for decades, and it didn't quite make sense to me totally, completely until I did this surrender work. And this is what Baba has to say. Understanding has no meaning. Love has meaning. Obedience has more meaning. Holding of my Dhamma has the most meaning. Now, when I first heard that decades ago, I really didn't know what holding of my Dhamma has the most meaning meant. I knew Baba used to actually hold his own Dhamma and tell people, hold on to my Dhamma. But I didn't really know what it meant until many, many years later. And now I believe that when he says holding of my Dhamma has the most meaning, he means surrender. Because when you're holding on to his Dhamma, think about it. You're not doing something else. When you're holding on to him, your hands aren't free to do other things. You're busy holding on to him. And when you're holding on to him, wherever he goes, you're going. That's what holding on means. It means you're not going off following your own desires, your own wants, your own ego. You're holding on to him means where he goes, you go. What he wants, you want. Like Mani said. All right, let's hear from a few people before we dive into a exercise, and then we'll wrap up because I know we have a time limit. Anybody so far about this? Is this interesting?
I have a question,
Yes.
Laurent.
Go ahead.
When I think of something I can't forgive, I feel real tight in the chest, and I wonder if you had that experience and how you worked with that.
Yes, there's a chapter on it in the book also. I call it unforgivable. And these are the things that if I wholeheartedly cannot forgive, I know that either one of two things has to happen. I remain in a dance with that individual because I can't stop dancing. Or I focus so totally and completely on Baba that he obliterates them and me, and it doesn't matter anymore. But if I'm that attached that I can't let go, it's a dance that continues, and it could continue lifetime after lifetime. So maybe you want to keep dancing. That's up to you. It's your choice. Okay. Anybody else? Hello, Etzion.
Hi.
Nihal wanted to ask. Okay, Etienne. Yes,
Please let
Etienne,
Etzion,
please.
please let
Etzion
Etzion
first.
go.
Yes,
Yes, let
Etzion
Etzion.
first,
Etienne,
and
please.
then
I have been dealing with what we call you. Do you hear me okay? Do you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yes, we can.
Shomim Tov.
Just a minute. I'm talking to somebody on the Zoom, just a couple of minutes. I've been dealing with this problem of forgiveness since 1976. I got involved emotionally with some problem with some people, and I didn't know how to handle it. And I was with Meir Baba in 1972, and I was trying a few ways of getting out of it, from this emotional entanglement, and it didn't succeed. But then what happens that it seems Baba himself stepped in, after I made some effort. Then he started to give me personal tutorials how to deal with this. And this was going on for about 15 years at least. It was not a picnic, to say the least, because the point was not forgiveness. The point was erasing some scars. In the way I was taught, whatsoever came first through my mind to give it to him. I was as if sending him constantly whatsoever surfaced to give it to him, and he was erasing it. Came again and again and again till the whole process would come to an end. So I wanted just to say to this lady who asked if she forgave somebody and he didn't forgive her, this is none of her business anymore. As soon as she gave it to Baba, that's it. Forget about this. You are not bound to anyone in this world. As soon as you're bound to Baba, you are free. That's what it is. That's the bottom line.
Thank you, Etzion. Thank you.
Okay.
I wanted to share about the beautiful image that you gave, holding the diamond. That's when everyone holds. That's so beautiful because I never thought of it. When someone holds a diamond, if we really hold on to the diamond, and if Baba moves, wherever he moves, we move. And that's so beautiful that you shared that. Thank you.
Jay Baba.
And I'm writing things. This is so exciting. Thank you. And thank you for all your answers to people that just, you are so deep with it. It's such good, wow, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Jay Baba.
Yeah.
Baba.
Should we do the exercise?
Yes, we can move ahead.
Okay. Can you see my screen? The quote?
Yes, we can see.
Okay. So I was inspired many, many years ago to come up with a framework to try to address some of this. And it was Alan Cohen, who's been a Sufi and Sufism reoriented for quite some time, who encouraged me to share this. So I'm going to do it with you. I'm not showing it yet because I want to talk it through first. What we do is we take an aspect of the 12 ways of realizing me, like surrenderance, which looks like this, and we ask ourselves a question, which is, if my surrender to Baba is healthy, how do I experience that? What does that feel like or look like, or what is my experience? And another question is, if I don't have enough surrender, how is that? What is that like? Or if I have what I'm calling too much, which becomes toxic because I'm doing it in such a way that I'm causing myself or others harm. So in this exercise, there's healthy surrender that has a certain look and feel. There's deficient, means not enough. And there's toxic, which means something's not right. Somebody's being harmed or something's not going right. So an example of healthy, just to give you an idea, is acceptance, being present, remembering not to worry. And I don't want to give you too many, but What I want you to do is look at this diagram where there's healthy in the middle and deficient on the left and toxic on the right. And I want you to ask yourself this question: what does my healthy surrender to Meher Baba look and feel like? What happens when there's not enough? And what happens if there's too much in a way that's not going well? Something's wrong, or something's not in alignment, or somebody's being harmed. And don't worry, there's no right or wrong answers, but I can show you when we did this in Myrtle Beach, people wrote all over the printout that I gave, and they had all different kinds of answers. So we're going to do the same thing here, and I'm going to type your answers. So just look at this and just ask yourself, which one do you want to tackle? Healthy, deficient, or toxic? And if you can't come up with a good one, I'll help you when it comes time. And I can give you an example of toxic. It means like your surrender is very strong, but you're surrendering to the wrong thing. So an example of toxic surrender would be like surrender to a false master. Well, it's a good idea to be surrendered, but you chose the wrong thing. The false master can't help you. So that's toxic surrender. But in the case of Meher Baba, that's not going to happen, right? Because we have Meher Baba. Another example of toxic surrender would be I surrender so much to a certain situation or a certain person that I neglect to take care of myself. And then I break down, either my health breaks down or I have an accident or something happens. So those are the types of things we're talking about. So what's an example of not enough surrender in your life? Or how does it feel with healthy surrender in your life? Or what's an example of toxic surrender? Think about that for about a minute, and then I'm going to start taking responses and typing them up. Okay. So we're doing surrender. By the way, surrenderance and surrender is the same thing. Baba created the word surrenderance. I don't know if you know that. And in the discourses, they found it and they wrote to the dictionary and they said, hey, we don't see surrenderance in the dictionary. Is it a word? And the dictionary wrote back and they said, Meher Baba made a good word. You should use it. It's not in the dictionary, but it's a good word. It's the act of being surrendered. Does it make sense what I'm asking, or is there any clarification needed? So take a couple minutes and think this through for yourself. What's an example of being...
I need clarification about deficiency, please.
Oh my God.
Deficiency means...
Could we put the diagram back on screen, Laurent? Sorry.
Sure. Deficiency, Michal, right? It means for some reason, I'm not able to surrender to Meher Baba. And because I'm not surrendered, what's my experience of not being surrendered? There's not enough surrender. What does it feel like?
Okay, thank you. Thanks.
Do you want me to give you one example?
Okay.
Worry.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Worry.
thank you.
Worry is an aspect of deficient surrender.
Thank you, you made it clear.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
And again, make this your own. So, you know, if you're feeling bold, you could pick one from each: deficient, healthy, and toxic. If you're feeling a little more timid, just pick one, whichever one feels appropriate for your experience: deficient, healthy, toxic. And it's just an opportunity. There's no requirement to share. It's an opportunity for everybody to explore this and see what comes of it. And I will be typing up responses down below, down here. Does anybody feeling ready to share one?
Usha, you wanted to ask something?
No, I
You had your...
Can I share?
Yeah, go
yes,
ahead.
please.
Okay. My experience said that when I was in healthy surrender, I had this inner calm in me. Of course,
Inner
I'm
calm.
not saying that it, yes, there was an inner calm, like an acceptance. Of course, it doesn't always last long, but I can now start identifying. And when I'm in deficiency, I have now realized that I'm in fear. I'm in total fear. I have this problem. I have got a lot of fears in me, lot of fears. And I'm working on it on another program. And I'm slowly realizing that surrender means, when I'm in total surrender, means I don't have to be frightened. I mean, I'm with him. So whatever is going to be happen, it's going to be his wish. It's his wish. And I want to accept that, because I'm beginning to understand the meaning of his wish means it's the best for me, even though if it is something negative. So I'm trying to now put that inside me. You know, I'm on that exercises for myself. So that is the deficiency. Yes, worry also, but in my case, fear is prominent. And the
So,
toxic was a very,
oh,
yeah.
go ahead. You have toxic also. Go ahead.
Yeah, toxic was what you had explained. I was not getting it, but this was what I have done in the past. Of surrender, when I didn't know what was surrender. I mean, slowly now I'm getting the realization for surrender. So now I realized what I did in the past is toxic.
What was it that you did
Accepting.
that was toxic?
I accept. I mean, suppose if somebody was being mean to me, rude, and things like which, when I was not in self-love, okay, I didn't know what is self-love. Self-love, like, was accepting, okay, whatever that person is doing, even if it is wrong, okay, maybe that's my karma. Okay, I should accept it, even if it is wrong. I said, okay, I surrender, but it was inside me, the anger, the hurt, and the pain, and I went into victimization. Okay, help me. I pray to God, help me, and in that victim mode. I didn't know I was in the victim mode.
That's
But
right.
slowly,
And yeah, I want to say something real quick.
yeah.
You're doing this incredibly well. What you've just shared is incredibly beautiful and clear. This is exactly what I was hoping to hear. So you did great. And I love everything you're sharing.
Thank you so
That's
much,
right.
because it's coming from my gut.
I love it. I
Feeling
love it.
yeah, I'm feeling I'm on the right path now. I just know I need to go ahead. Of course, I have to
Yes.
a lot to go ahead.
But look at
Thank you so
everybody,
much.
look at what this beautiful sharing. She did. She did all three and a couple of other things, including his wish is the best for me. This is so beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And let's give some other people a chance also.
Okay.
Who wants to go next?
We have Al, who's next.
Go ahead, Al.
Al, please unmute.
Yeah, Jai Baba, everyone. Let's, Laurent, I want to mention two things. In the only real surrender, Baba says the individual with perfect calm is resigned to the will of God. And then there's another quote where Baba says he faces all of the vicissitudes of life with unchallengeable equanimity. So I guess the real proof of real surrender is that you stay calm and you take the good with the bad and you act or you react to them with equanimity or indifference, as it were. But I did want to ask you a question. There's one quote where Baba says, resigned. He uses the word resigned, which in some cases he equates with surrender, but to me it seems like to be a step or two below surrender. There's that one quote where Baba sometimes uses the word resigned. I wonder if you can speak to that. In this quote here, he says, resign with perfect calm to the will of God. But there are other places where he uses the word resigned, and it seems to be a step or two below surrender. Almost if you accept that it's God's will, but you still don't like it, Whereas in real surrender, you accept it's God's will, and you're calm, and it's okay one way or the other. It seems like resigned has that sense of it's inevitable, it's unavoidable, it had to be this way. But still, I holding on to my sadness or regrets or whatever.
Yeah, I think there are many layers to this, Al. That's a great question. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
So since we have a couple people from, or a few people from Israel on the line, and I'm sure they can validate what I'm about to say, the word Israel means wrestles with God. And it was the name that God gave to Jacob, I believe, when he wrestled with the angel, isn't it? Somebody confirm that?
Israel meaning the God man. The literal meaning of Israel is the God man. That's what
Israel means directly to God. Yashar, Yashar, to God. El is God, and Yashar is to, towards. So, and also truth. Yashar is also truth. So if you take the two,
I read
the
a
word,
version that said, yeah, I read a version that said it means struggles with or wrestles with God because of Jacob wrestling with the angel.
yeah, he got that name when he wrestled with the angel because he, what the name was is he stayed with God. So yeah, Sarah is staying with God because he was fighting the angel, and the angel did not win, and so he gave him this name. He said, "Now you're called this name because you have wrestled with me." And but
That's where I'm
Yashar,
going.
yeah, but Yashar is
Yeah.
not that. Yashar is directly to God, or okay.
So the reason I brought this up at all is for Al. Al, there's surrender where you're grumbling and you're still wrestling with it and saying, I don't like this, I'm going to surrender, but this isn't right, and I don't think this is how it should be, and all that. And then there's resigned, like you're saying, which for me is the surrender has achieved a level of tranquility. If you're not speaking, can you go on mute? I hear some background noise.
Yeah, let me just say one more thing. I remember the quote where Baba says, "Be resigned to every situation and think honestly and sincerely. Baba has placed me in this situation." I'm going to mute myself. And Laurent, I think you can go over if you want to. The next program is not till 12, so there's no real hurry.
Oh, okay. Well, and so I guess where I come from is, and I've seen this throughout my life with Baba, people double guessing Baba, right? Like, you remember Baba Ram Das, the guru who got all into drugs and all that? And he said to a friend of mine, I believe Mayor Baba is God and that he's the avatar, but he's wrong about drugs. You know, it's like, what? That doesn't even make sense, you know, when people talk like that. But it's like they're holding out as they know better about something than God or Baba. It's like, well, are you resigned? Are you surrendered or not? Because if you're really surrendered, then it's, you stop wrestling with Baba about the issue and you say, I think you're right, Baba. I don't know what I was thinking. You know, it's like there's a kind of humility in surrender. And in another place, you know, if you get into the quotes, there's so many beautiful quotes from Baba about surrender, but he says things about like, one who surrenders has no being other than the beloved. Do you know that one? It's like, let's see if I can find it here. Yeah, here it is. One who loves is the lover of the beloved. One who obeys is the beloved of the beloved. One who surrenders all, body, mind, and all else, has no existence other than that of the beloved, who alone exists in him. I mean, my God, we're going from loving Baba to obeying Baba to becoming Baba through surrender. That's obviously what Baba's intending. So there can be no holding out a part of one's own experience and saying, well, I get it, Baba, but I know better about this. You know, that's what I think Baba's getting to. So let's go back, if it's okay, let's go back to the diagram. Can you still see the diagram that I'm working with here? Did anybody else have a healthy, deficient, or toxic example?
I'd like
Can
to
you still
say
hear me?
something. It's Marcia.
Yeah.
Yes,
Go ahead,
Marcia.
Marcia.
If you entrust your things that you think, do, and speak to Baba, you know, like in the morning and at night, and you really have complete faith, then that's a good surrender. But if you surrender and you don't have faith, then you're not really wholeheartedly surrendered. So you have, you know, maybe doubts or things, you know, but I have to get my thoughts because I had an incident that I was friends with somebody for years, and a few times that person said, oh, I don't want to be friends with you anymore because of something I said. And then I was hurt. My feelings were hurt. And then just last week, it's funny that I just kind of stumbled into this today. But last week I said to Baba, you know, I don't want to, I tried to put that person in a bubble and put it in heart prayers and all that, but it kept coming back in my mind. So I said to Baba, like, take this, you know, I'm finished with this. You take care of it. That same night, that person called me, right? And then I talked to them, and then I knew that I was going to be confronted with, I had to face what it was. I didn't really know what she was upset about, you know, and I didn't really understand it, but I knew my feelings are really hurt, but I wanted it resolved. And then it ended up being resolved, you know, because I had to go ahead and face it to get rid of it. And now I still can talk to that person, but I won't have to carry it over to my next life, because you have to resolve things so that you don't carry them with you forever, you know. So
that's correct. That's correct. And
yeah.
I want to add to your story, which is a beautiful story, Marcia. Baba, during his lifetime, would frequently figure out with somebody that they had an issue and then encourage them to confront somebody about that issue and get it resolved and not linger. He did this with famous people. He did this with his disciples. He did this throughout his life, and he would say it out, share, you know, write them a letter or go visit them and deal with this. And he would keep pushing people to do exactly what you're talking about.
Well, I've always been the kind of person that kind of quiet, and, you know, I have friends, but I'm not like, I avoid, I don't like confrontation. I would rather say, okay, I apologize for what I did, even if I, like, you know, Baba says sometimes it's better to say you're sorry, even if you're not, you know, you mean just to say that, just, it doesn't matter to me, the past, you know what I mean? It's like, what's important is just,
that's a big way to burn impressions, is apologizing even if you're not at fault.
He says turn the other cheek, right? Yeah. Well, to me, it's not important, you know, and I'm not mad anymore. But like you said, you don't forget about it because you know that person did it, but you just let it go, like you said, with the love, the give and the take. Because if you're really loving, you're just like, to me, if you get rid of all this junk, then you're a vehicle. Baba lives inside you. And now I just say, I didn't have enough faith completely in Baba, and now I do. I completely got down on my, you know, or I'm tired of fighting you because it kept beating me up. You know what I mean? I said, I give up. And to me, I really surrendered, because I don't have any option, because he's in control of everything. So he says, like, do your best and then let it go, because I'm the one that's going to do the result. You have no control over anything. I mean, you do, but you don't. Yeah,
I love it. Perfect. Perfect.
Well, thank you.
Anybody else? Thank you.
I might have to go. My dog is crossing her legs. So I'm like, I'm going to try to take you out on my phone with my dog. But if I lose you or something, thank you.
Okay. Thank you, J-Bob.
Okay.
Anybody else want to share their experience of that exercise? Was it interesting?
I wanted to say something else.
Go ahead, Etienne.
Just to add something on what I shared before about this process. Process, actually, what I was trained is nothing. It has something to do with forgiveness, of course, but what I understood after many years, That's actually the whole thing of forgiveness is a process of erasing sanskaras. If sanskaras are not there, if there's no binding impressions in the subconscious mind, you are free, and that's it. And you don't need to worry about this. And that's the way I was trained. Baba gave me this special training. And the gist of the whole process after many years, I say it's not picnic. What it is, when you work on sanskaras, all the garbage from the very beginning of creation has been surfacing, and you have to deal with this. And another thing I understood that while I'm dealing with this, I'm helping all the millions and endless people I've been sharing all the way through, who don't have the contact and the communication with the avatar. And I was communicating them through my behalf to the avatars while dealing with them, brought them to his orbit. And the punchline, which I understood, it seemed as if every 10 years or so I would get some insight, like a bonus for all this hard work. And the bonus was a bonus. You understand what I'm saying? As if I got a boon, supposedly. Quote unquote. Of course, the point was that in this Advent we have received many gifts, and the greatest gift is that we can enter Baba's orbit in this life and stay there. And this is the highest achievement in the universe, because you stay in his orbit, and it doesn't matter if you come here again or not. Wherever you go, you go. And I was, as if I was explained through all this process, that the only requirement is not to keep any grudge whatsoever against anything or anyone whatsoever, because the realm of perfect love cannot accept anyone who keeps even the smallest grudge against anything. You are being repelled. So we, all of us, have this opportunity. Any human being at all. If Hitler comes to this threshold and the doorkeeper doesn't see any grudge, he walks in. That's what I understood.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Laurent, we have about 7 to 10 minutes more. So.
Okay, maybe couple more comments, and then we'll go into a few minutes of silence with Baba.
So, if after the comments, we have the Meher Dhun to be played, which is followed by the Australian Aarti and the silence.
So one more comment. Okay. One more comment then.
Ken has put up his hand.
Go ahead, Ken.
Hi, Laurent.
Hi.
This may be too complex at the moment, but sort of caught between toxic surrender and positive surrender, and the idea of injustice. I just came across this quote from Prophet Muhammad. The Prophet said, "Help your brother, whether he is an oppressor, or one of the oppressed." Some said, "O Messenger of God, we help him if he is oppressed, but how can we help him if he's an oppressor?" The Prophet said, "By stopping him." So as I relate that to the idea of, to surrender, forgiveness. Can there still be a need? Can there still be a need for justice, in a sense? It kind of relates to what you were saying in your marriage. You know, there was still a need there that you had to deal with. You forgive the person, but you still need to deal with the injustice.
Yes, I can speak to that. I'll try to keep this sufficiently vague so I'm not backbiting or giving anything up here. But I was recently in a situation where a 10-year-old boy was being abused. And I stepped in to stop that from happening. And that's somebody may say that's the opposite of surrender, because I didn't just say, oh, well, it's not my business. It's not my karma. It's not, but I didn't. And what I felt I did was I surrendered to what I felt Baba was saying is the best thing in this situation, which is to stop that from happening. And so I surrendered to what was in my heart, which was act on this, stop that, protect this child. That's also a type of surrender because I'm helping my brother, who's the adult person who's being abusing, and saying, you will not do that anymore. And taking the child away, that is, I think, exactly what Ken is talking about, or what the prophet, peace be upon him and his family, is talking about.
Right. Thanks.
Anyone else? We could have
Thanks,
one
Ken.
more
Appreciate
comment.
it. All right. Oh.
Usha, you were trying to say something?
No, I'm sorry.
Maybe back to you,
All right.
Roshani, so we can wrap it up.
Okay. Yes. So
Thank you
thank
to
you so
Roshani
much.
for
No,
thank you, Roshani, for inviting me to
no.
facilitate, and thank you all for participating. Avatar Mir Baba Ki Jai.
Okay, Jai.
EJ.
Thank you. Thank you for coming and sharing your love, insights, and your experiences with both these important topics. And thank you to everyone who shared their intimate hearts, words, and experiences with all of us to learn from it and grow stronger in Baba's love. So we will play the Meher Dhun followed by the Australian Aarti and a moment of silence. And in the silence, may we pray for Baba's Nazar to be there upon the world and on all of us and help us to hold on to his Daman more strongly and tightly. Jai Baba.
Jai Baba.
Everyone, please mute yourselves.
Roshani having trouble? There it is.
Meher Baba, 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 Meher Baba. Meher Baba, 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 Meher Baba. Meher Baba, 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 Baba, Meher 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 Baba.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय।
Oh, glorious, eternal, ancient one, your face is a bright, transcendental sun. Lighten this dark world and the tears I weep. My heart meher I give to you to keep. Creator, yet creationless you are. Truth and truth's body, divine avatar. Through compassion the three worlds maintain. Destroy this ignorance that life sustains. These five lights are the whirling strokes of breath of the world's wheel that bears me unto death. Unless you are infinitely kind, break the wheels of which is conditioned mind. This incense is my love, these fruits my art, which to please you I have shaped from my heart. Accept them as you would a simple flower that has no use beyond its shining hour. You are myself, I sing to you in praise, and beg your love to bear me through the day. Till you, the ever-living perfect one, illume my darkness with your shining sun.
अवतार मेहर बाबा की
मेहर
जय।
बाबा की जय।
1 minute of silence. अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार मेहर बाबा की जय। अवतार
जय
मेहर बाबा की जय।
बाबा की जय।
We can all unmute, please. And say Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai 3 times. Avatar Meher
Meher Baba ki Jai.
Avatar
Meher Baba ki Jai.
Avatar Meher Baba ki Jai.
Thank you very much.
Oh God.
Thank you so much.